The rain came down in relentless sheets, each drop a cold needle against my skin. I had been hiking for hours, seeking solace in the rugged wilderness, but the storm had other plans. The wind howled through the trees, and the sky was a bruised shade of purple, heavy with the weight of the downpour. My jacket was soaked through, and my boots squelched with every step. I needed shelter, and fast. That's when I saw it, a dark opening in the side of the mountain, partially hidden by a curtain of ivy. A cave. I didn't hesitate. I pushed through the foliage and stumbled inside, grateful for the sudden absence of rain. The air was cool and damp, and the faint smell of earth and moss filled my nostrils. I shook myself like a dog, trying to rid my clothes of some of the water, and pulled out my flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, revealing a narrow passage that led deeper into the mountain. I ventured further in, my footsteps echoing softly against the stone walls. The cave was larger than I had expected, with high ceilings and strange, smooth formations that glistened in the light. It felt almost otherworldly, and then I saw them. At first, I thought they were statues, two figures huddled together in a shallow alcove. But as I approached, my heart leapt into my throat. They were alive, and they were not human. The larger of the two was clearly an adult, though its form was unlike anything I had ever seen. Its skin was a pale, iridescent blue, shimmering faintly in the beam of my flashlight. It had long, slender limbs and a narrow, elongated face with large, almond-shaped eyes that glowed a soft silver. Its body was covered in a thin, translucent membrane that seemed to ripple with every breath. Beside it was a smaller version of itself, a child, perhaps, curled up against its side. Both were emaciated, their ribs visible beneath their delicate skin. I froze, my mind racing. Aliens. Actual aliens. Here, in this cave, my first instinct was to run, to bolt back into the storm and never look back. But something stopped me. The way they looked at me, not with fear or hostility, but with a quiet, desperate hope. The adult raised a trembling hand, its long fingers reaching out toward me. Its mouth moved, but no sound came out. Instead, I felt a strange sensation in my mind, like a gentle tug at my thoughts. Help us. The words weren't spoken aloud, but I heard them all the same. Clear as day. My fear began to ebb, replaced by a growing sense of urgency. They were starving, weak, and clearly in need of aid. I couldn't just leave them. I knelt down a few feet away, setting my backpack on the ground. "I'm not going to hurt you," I said softly, unsure if they could understand me. The adult's eyes flickered, and I felt another nudge in my mind. "We understand." I nodded, relieved. "Okay, good. I'm going to help you, but I need to know what you need. Food? Water?" The alien's head tilted slightly, and I felt a series of images flood my mind. A glowing crystal, a pool of water, a strange fruit with a metallic sheen. It was trying to show me what they needed, but I had no idea where to find any of it. I don't know where to get those things," I admitted. "But I have some food with me. It's not much, but it's something." I rummaged through my backpack and pulled out a granola bar and a bottle of water. I held them out, unsure if they could even consume human food. The adult hesitated, then reached out with a trembling hand. Its fingers brushed against the granola bar, and I felt another mental nudge. "Thank you." It unwrapped the bar with surprising dexterity and broke off a small piece, which it offered to the child. The little one took it eagerly, nibbling at the edges. The adult watched for a moment, then took a small bite itself. Its eyes closed, and I felt a wave of gratitude wash over me. "You're welcome," I said, smiling despite the surrealness of the situation. "I'll see if I can find more." I spent the next hour scouring the cave for anything that might help. I found a small stream trickling through a crevice in the wall and filled my water bottle, offering it to the aliens. They drank gratefully, their movements slow and deliberate. I also found a few edible plants growing near the entrance, which I gathered and brought back. It wasn't much, but it was enough to keep them going for now. As the storm raged outside, I sat with them, trying to piece together their story. Through a combination of mental images and fragmented words, I learned that they were refugees from a distant planet, forced to flee after their home was destroyed by a catastrophic event. Their ship had crash-landed on Earth, and they had been hiding in the cave ever since, too weak to seek help. "Why didn't you try to contact anyone?" I asked. The adult's eyes dimmed, and I felt a wave of sorrow. "We are afraid. Your kind does not know of us. We feared what would happen if we were discovered." I couldn't argue with that. Humanity's track record with the unknown wasn't exactly stellar. But I couldn't just leave them here either. They needed proper food, medical attention, and a way to communicate with others of their kind, if there were any left. "I'll help you," I said firmly. "I don't know how, but I'll figure something out." The alien's eyes met mine, and I felt a surge of gratitude and hope. "Thank you," it repeated. Over the next few days, I divided my time between caring for the aliens and trying to come up with a plan. I brought them food from my supplies and foraged for anything edible in the surrounding area. I also managed to rig up a makeshift shelter using my tarp and some branches, giving them a bit more comfort. The child, in particular, seemed to grow stronger with each passing day, its silver eyes bright with curiosity. But I knew this wasn't sustainable. They needed more than I could provide on my own. I needed to find a way to get them help without exposing them to danger. It was a delicate balance, and I wasn't sure how to proceed. One evening, as I sat by the fire I had built near the cave entrance, the adult alien approached me. Its movements were still slow, but there was a new strength in its posture. It sat beside me, its luminous eyes reflecting the flickering flames. "We must leave soon," it said, its voice echoing in my mind. "Our time here is limited." "Leave? Where will you go?" I asked, my heart sinking. "We must find others of our kind. There is a place to sanctuary, but it is far." "How far?" "Beyond the stars." I stared at it, stunned. "You mean you need to get off Earth?" It nodded. "Our ship is damaged, but it may still fly. If we can repair it." I took a deep breath, trying to process this. "Okay, let's see what we can do." The next morning, we ventured deeper into the cave, following a series of tunnels that the alien indicated led to their ship. It was a long, arduous journey, but eventually we reached a massive chamber. And there in the center was their ship. It was unlike anything I had ever seen. A sleek, silver vessel shaped like a teardrop, with intricate patterns etched into its surface. It was clearly damaged with scorch marks and cracks along its hull, but it was still intact. The alien approached it, placing a hand on its surface. The ship responded with a faint hum, and a doorway slid open. "We can repair it," the alien said, its voice filled with determination. "But we will need your help." And so, we got to work. The alien guided me through the process, showing me how to use the ship's advanced technology to mend the damage. It was slow going, and there were moments when I doubted we would succeed. But gradually, the ship began to come back to life. Finally, after days of tireless effort, the ship was ready. The alien turned to me, its eyes filled with gratitude. "You have given us hope," it said. "We will never forget you." I felt a lump in my throat. "I'm just glad I could help. But will you be okay? Out there? We will find our way," it assured me. "And perhaps, one day, our kinds will meet again." The child approached me, its small hand reaching out to touch mine. I felt a warm, tingling sensation, and an image flashed in my mind, a starry sky filled with endless possibilities. "Thank you," it said, its voice soft and sweet. I smiled, tears welling up in my eyes. "Take care of each other." The aliens boarded their ship, and with a final wave, the doorway closed. The ship hummed to life, its surface glowing with a brilliant light. Then, with a sound like 1,000 whispers, it rose into the air and shot upward, disappearing through a hidden opening in the cave ceiling. I stood there for a long time, staring at the spot where they had been. The cave felt emptier now, but also different, as if it had been touched by something extraordinary. When I finally emerged from the cave, the storm had passed, and the sky was clear. The stars above seemed brighter than ever, and I couldn't help but wonder where they were now, out there, among the infinite expanse of the universe. I knew my life would never be the same. I had glimpsed something beyond the ordinary, something that had changed me in ways I couldn't yet understand. And as I made my way back down the mountain, I felt a strange sense of peace. Somewhere out there, they were safe. And that was enough.